What is up, weight loss warriors and YouTube family? How are you guys doing today? I got a question for you. What is magical about 10,000 steps? Find out right after this. Alright guys, 10,000 steps is what we always hear. It's the magical number. It's the number that everybody's talking about. What is so special about 10,000 steps? Well, the short answer to that is nothing. 10,000 steps is just a made-up number. It was actually started in Japan in the 1960s, and it was done by a company that was literally trying to promote something that kept track of your steps. So they put the number 10,000 out there. It's a big number, and it's not an overwhelming number. So that's where the number comes from. But if you literally go out and walk 10,000 steps, does it have benefits? Well, of course it has benefits. There's so many benefits to walking 10,000 steps. But it starts off with you not worrying about what number of steps you have or you haven't got. What it starts with, guys, is you taking an initiative to find out what your average steps are. And if you're walking, like, let's say 4,000 steps a day, okay, now we know that. You've done that for a week. You've looked at it and you walked 5 on this one and 3 on that one and 35 on this one and 45 on that one. And so you know, I'm averaging 4,000 steps. So now, after you've measured that for a week, if you increase that number by 1,000 steps, now you're pushing yourself to do something a little bit more than you did last week, which is ultimately the goal, which is ultimately getting you moving more, which will ultimately burn more calories and make you more of a healthy individual. So, and then you gradually build that up until you can get to 10,000 or even beyond. I don't go a day without walking 10 now, but it definitely wasn't always that way. And most days I'm averaging about 15,000 steps. So the answer, though, with 10, and one of the few magical reasons why 10 is a good number, one of those reasons is if you're able to get 10,000 calories burnt, the average person at the average weight, and we all know that none of us are average, burns 500 calories walking a day at that point. What is significant about burning 500 calories walking? If you multiply that times 7, it's 3,500 calories. What is 3,500 calories? 1 pound. So you're literally burning 1 pound of energy or 1 pound of body fat, hopefully, especially if you're a faster, throughout your walking day if you're managing to get 10,000 steps. So that's one of the things. But there was a study done in Sweden that they took and they walked for 15,000 steps a day. And the people that walked for 15,000 steps a day on average had a smaller waist than the average person. They had lower blood pressure. All of their cholesterol was lower. Everything that about them physically was better when they walked 15,000 steps. So is there a magical number out there? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 20? What should your goal be? My answer to you is your goal should be, I don't know, a few hundred to 1,000 steps more than you're making on average. So the first thing you got to do is you've got to take the time to figure out what it is you're walking. Then increase it gradually, build it up, look for 10,000 as a milestone. When you can get 10,000 done and you don't even have to think about it, you know you're moving in the right direction, and then you can go from there. And so I'll give you a couple other tips that I found that was easy for me. When I first started doing 10,000, I was lumping the majority of my steps into one go at one time a day. And it was taking a larger period of time to do, which is difficult. I'm not going to lie. Walking 10,000 steps in one sitting is an hour and a half, maybe even, for some of you 2 hours. Maybe some of you can get it done in an hour and 10 minutes, but you got to be hustling. So you got to understand that that's very difficult. So now what I do is I make sure I go to work a half an hour early, and I walk for half an hour before work. I just walk around the school, and I get about 3,000 to 3,500 steps. Then at lunch, I repeat that. I don't eat lunch, so I just get up, go out, start walking. and I grab another 3,500 steps. So in that situation, I've got 7,000 steps there. So just from the maintenance of the rest of the day, I'm generally going to get to 10. And that's why I try to push myself to get to 15. I try to walk a lot more during my wrestling practices when I get home. Walk around. I'll go on walk with my sons. Whatever I can to try to push that a little bit higher. But I'm getting the majority of those steps out right off the bat. And I think that that's a big help. So I think if you can break them up into a half an hour chunk here and a half an hour chunk here and a half an hour chunk here, you'll get to the 10,000 steps so much faster than you will any other way. So I want to make sure that you guys know that just moving is important. And I also want one other point to get out of here before I let you guys go for the week or until Sunday, is that all steps are not created equal. If you're walking and you're walking at a slow pace and someone else is doing the same amount of steps at a high intense pace, they're going to get more steps in. So you've got to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. And you got to make sure that you're pushing that envelope farther and farther as you go until you get to a spot that is manageable. You don't want to spend your whole life walking, but is manageable. And I think that'll help the calories go. I was stuck at about 90 pounds lost for a very, very long time, and I started to increase my steps. And then all of a sudden my weight started to go back down from plateauing to just steadily heading down. So it can be done. You guys just have to go out and do it. So that's my son Frankie. Yeah, you can come back in and pop in, Frank. This is Frank. He's saying hi. How many steps did you get today, Frankie? He's going to check out his steps right here. Show him your Fitbit. Okay, so what did you get in here?
6,214.
6,214. So guys, again, you got to know your daily average. You got to improve on it, and you got to continue to work. And it's baby steps. It's not going to happen overnight for you, but it will happen. So if this video was helpful at all, give it that thumbs up. Make sure you comment in the description below, or comment in the comment section below. Turn on your ring notifications, and please subscribe. Show me some love. I appreciate it, weight loss warriors. Get out there, get your grind on, and make sure you're moving. If you're not going to do steps, get on an exercise bike. Do something. You got anything to say, Frankie? How about say, give it a thumbs up. Ask him to give it a thumbs up, Frankie.
Give it a thumbs up.
Thanks, buddy. All right, guys, you heard him. You can't say no to that. All right, guys, I'll talk to you in the next video. Peace.